Today on the newscast, Iran says it now has hypersonic missiles. Would that be a game changer? And did Israel carry out mysterious airstrikes against an Iranian convoy this week? Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. We've been telling you here on the newscast over the past few months about what I call the Gathering Storm Coalition. That includes Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, all working together and all working against the West and against Israel. Well, one crucial component for these Gathering Storm nations is their nuclear programs and their ballistic missile programs, and you can kind of combine the two and you come up with hypersonic missiles. Now, Russia has actually used hypersonic missiles on the battlefield in Ukraine. China has tested them, and North Korea has tested them as well. And what they are, they're ballistic missiles that are capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. They travel at 5 times the speed of sound. They travel at a low altitude, making them much harder to detect and shoot down, and they are very dangerous and advanced weapons. Now the Iranian regime says that it possesses these hypersonic missiles. Could that be a game changer? First of all, is it true? And if so, is it a game changer in the region and beyond? We're going to break it down for you here in a second. Before I do, a quick reminder to subscribe to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Hey, we just passed 500,000 subscribers here in the newscast. Big thanks to all of our watchmen and women on the wall who are out there joining us every single day. And thanks to God for continuing to expand our territory on this channel with a message of truth for such a time as this. We look for even better days ahead. But in the meantime, we've got dangerous days ahead when Iran is saying it possesses hypersonic missiles. Now, the head of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps' aerospace division claimed today that Iran has developed these hypersonic missiles. He said they can penetrate, they can basically avoid any kind of missile defense system in the world. Basically, he says these missiles are indestructible, in his words. Now, a few things here, folks. Number one, does Iran really have this technology? The Iranian regime has made many claims and many boasts in previous years of their various weapons systems, and these claims have proven to not always be accurate. I'm thinking most of all about Iran's satellite program. They've tried many times over the years to launch a satellite into space. On a few of those occasions, at least, the satellite launch was not successful, and yet the regime claimed that it was. So in the case of hypersonic missiles, another thing to remember, they're very advanced. First of all, the United States, at least that we know of, does not possess these missiles yet. Certainly they're working on that hypersonic missile technology. But remember, Iran has the most robust ballistic missile program in the entire Middle East. Short-range missiles, medium-range missiles, and also working diligently, according to the U.S. Pentagon, the Iranian regime is working diligently on intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs for short. And folks, I've said it before here in the newscast, you develop ICBMs for one reason and one reason only, to mount them with a nuclear warhead. That's the sole purpose for developing ICBMs, and they do exactly what their name says. They are designed to travel across continents and across oceans. Those Iranian ICBMs would not be for Israel, not even for Europe. They are for the nation that the Iranian regime calls the Great Satan, the United States. So we know Iran has a very active and growing and strong ballistic missile program. We know they have a nuclear program. They're working diligently towards having the bomb as well. Like I said at the top, you put the two together, ballistic missiles, nuclear weapons, and a hypersonic missile to the regime in Iran certainly must seem like a very good idea. And it was interesting that the head of the IRGC aerospace division said, hey, they can penetrate any missile defense system in the world. when you think of the Iranian ring of fire that we've talked so much about here in the newscast that surrounds Israel right now. You're thinking Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, those various Shia militias in Iraq and Syria. You think of them being armed to the teeth with ballistic missiles, potentially, certainly rockets, and those attack drones. When we're talking about Iran's technology, its military hardware, we have to factor in Iran's growing drone program, supplying those drones. And finally, an Iranian official admitted over the weekend, yes, we have supplied drones to Russia for use in Ukraine, and there's more and more chatter that Iran may supply some of those ballistic missiles to Russia as well. But when you think of that arsenal, hundreds of thousands of rockets, missiles, and who knows how many drones surrounding Israel on all sides, you also think, if you're Israel and you're a friend of Israel like this program, you think of Israel's missile defense systems, the Arrow missile defense system for long-range missiles, the David Sling missile defense system for medium range, and of course Iron Dome for shorter range rockets, and Israel also developing Iron Beam, a laser-based defense system. So when it comes to missile defense technology, Israel is the cream of the crop in the world. Other countries, including Sunni Arab nations in the Middle East, are clamoring to get some of that Israeli missile defense technology. They'd love to get their hands on Iron Dome. And Iran now seems to be trying to send a message that Israel, you may have a mighty missile defense system, but these hypersonic missiles, again, low altitude, flying at 5 times the speed of sound, folks. Great maneuverability, apparently, in the air. Iran is saying these hypersonic missiles can breach any defense system. Now, I mentioned that Israel has a mighty missile defense system. Israel also has a mighty God, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob watching over it. So I would advise the IRGC to take note of that. Hey, one last thought before we go. A question first. Do you think this claim by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps is legit? Do you think that Iran does indeed now have hypersonic missiles? Obviously, if this is true and these missiles work, it is a major game changer in many ways, but is it legit, this claim? I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Last thought here before we go, last report, I should say, we had airstrikes overnight Tuesday night along the Iraq-Syria border. An Iranian convoy was struck. Now, the Wall Street Journal reported that Israel is believed to be behind the attack. Hezbollah media is saying the same thing. There were airstrikes against an Iranian convoy of trucks, including 2 fuel tankers, reportedly. This convoy was transiting fuel and weapons to Lebanon. Now, the weapons clearly for Hezbollah, which, look, Hezbollah's home base where it lives and breathes is southern Lebanon in particular, also Lebanon with major fuel shortages, all sorts of problems, as we have reported here in the newscast, in the nation of Lebanon. But Israel apparently saw something there that warranted their attention. And when you think of Iran transiting weapons to Hezbollah, you think of missiles, which we've been talking about here today, obviously. Precision-guided missiles, in particular PGMs for short, which if Hezbollah got their hands on those, it would be a major game changer. So 10 people, reportedly some Iranians, killed in this strike, and we're waiting for more details about it. The Iranian regime hasn't said anything yet. Will there be a tit-for-tat type situation here where Iran attempts to respond to this overnight strike Tuesday? Folks, the plot thickens. And when we talk about the precision-guided missiles and the components and the technology for those PGMs being shared by Iran, and we talk about the drones being shared by Iran, not only with its proxies in the region, but Russia, would Iran also share hypersonic missile technology with its unsavory allies? I think that's certainly on the table right now, and we reported here in the newscast about a quid pro quo potentially between Iran and Russia, where Iran has reportedly asked Russia for help with Iran's nuclear program. Folks, stay tuned. A lot going on in the world's most volatile and strategic region, and we will bring you all the latest developments from the Middle East. The Middle East never sleeps, right here on the Watchman Newscast. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.